Hey everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhouseonboone.com, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of our farmhouse bedroom with a lovely spring makeover. Our bedroom was one of the first rooms that I took you on a tour of last year when we bought the place, and it was in no way done. Now what I did was when I came here, I brought everything that worked so well in our last farmhouse and just put it in here. And what I have found out over the past year of living here is that this house is so much different. It was built in the 1890s and it has a little bit of a Victorian flair to it. And so after living in it for a while, I have found ways that what I had in my old house just did not work here at all. And this bedroom is finally feeling way more true to the house by the things that I've brought in, the changes I've made. So let me take you on a little tour of that. But first I want to thank today's video sponsor, Brooklinen. Luke and I have had the opportunity of sleeping in Brooklinen sheets for the past year now. We love the linen sheets by Brooklinen. You spend 1/3 of your life in your sheets, so it's important that they are comfortable. Brooklinen offers hotel style sheets, the ones that make you just feel so cozy and comfortable that won't cost an arm and a leg. Brooklinen sheets have been named the winner in the best online bedding category by Good Housekeeping, and they have more than 35,000 5-star reviews. We really love the washed linen sheets. They're perfect for cool nights or warm nights too. They kind of have that light feel that allows you to either feel cooler in the summer or warmer in the winter. But this year we did also add the classic duvet cover, so this one is not linen. It has that cool crisp hotel sheet feel to it in one of their limited edition colors. I chose the gold color because I thought it would be perfect with the other colors that I'm adding here in this room, which I'm about to show you. I think it ended up blending perfectly. I also did get a set of the linen pillowcases with the stripes. I like the way that the washed blue linen goes with the striped linen, and then I brought in that classic gold duvet as well. Our Brooklinen sheets are the most comfortable that we've ever slept in. We've been sleeping in them exclusively for a year and absolutely love them. And you can use code BOONE20 to get $20 off an order over $100. There also will be a link down in the description box as well. The duvet cover that we got this time, the classic one, does have the button enclosure at the top, which is really great because it keeps our duvet insert nice and inside, and then we can also tie it off in the corners. Now we do also have the Brooklinen duvet insert. I will leave links down in the description box below to all of the Brooklinen products that I have here on my bed if you want to shop the exact same look. Brooklinen was the first direct-to-consumer company, so there isn't a middleman. They work directly with manufacturers, which means that they can get the product out for a less expensive price and cut out all of that middleman that usually bedding manufacturers have to work with. They also have over 20 mix and match colors. That's what I like a lot. I was able to design how our bed was going to look with all of the other design elements I had in mind for this room. I didn't want just all white on white like I did last time. I'll explain more about that later, but I liked that I could use the mix and match. So make sure to check out the link down in the description and use the code BOONE20 to get $20 off an order over $100. All right, so I've mentioned a bunch that this room just did not feel quite right. And a lot of you actually said so. In my last video where I showed our bedroom, a lot of you who were seeing it with eyes outside of this room, that it did not look quite right and it didn't look fitting to the house. It was very minimal and plain, which I do enjoy, but I'm finding that this house is calling for so much more. It has really tall ceilings, so I'm on the second floor and the ceilings are still close to 10 feet. So it just has a grander feel. In our last house, the upstairs, you could put your hand like this and touch the ceiling. It also has trim that is very big and thick and baseboards that have a lot of detail and just features around the house that make my short little furniture before feel very out of place. So the first example of that in this room is my iron bed. I loved my iron bed in our last house. It looked pretty in front of our shiplap wall and with our sconces. But in this house, it just felt so short. This room, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get things to elevate. And I'm actually having the same problem still down in our living room. And I'm trying to figure out how to fix that. But in this room, I felt like if I just brought in a bed that had a little bit more height to it, that would start to solve that problem. So I ended up finding a 4-poster bed on Facebook Marketplace. I picked it up for around $200, and it ended up being one of the best things I could bring in as a starting point for this room. Now, I already had collected in my last video, one of the first things I collected for this room was a really nice armoire. The reason for that is that we don't have any closets, and so the armoire serves as a great closet for us. And so that already brought in a little bit of starting point for this room. But what I like about this bed is it is the same wood color, and I'm loving woods lately. I'm loving the not everything painted look anymore. And so I brought in this nice wood 4-poster bed as a starting point. Then I also brought in this trunk here at the end of the bed. This was something that we ended up buying from the owners of this house, so this has been in here a while too. The story of this room is a lot of things collected over time, and we've only been in here a year, so when I say collect over time, I mean a year. I do feel that it will come together even more as we add more things, but everything in this house is a progression because when I'm out and about at antique shops, at thrift shops, I'm thinking about our house and how it is now. And so everything that I brought over from the last house doesn't necessarily have a spot. We didn't really have a lot of antiques in it because I was doing more of the minimal style. And so I'm having a lot of fun collecting, and this room is the result of a year of collecting. I also brought in some art. A lot of you told me last time, where's the art on the walls? And after a while, I totally realized how right you were, that it would really fill out this room to have some art. So I grabbed some oil paintings on Facebook Marketplace. I actually found this set of 2 floral oil paintings for $50. They were already in their frames as well. So I feel like that was a total score, especially for a spring makeover. Another thing I did is I took the same nightstands that we had in our last house and I swapped out the hardware. Before they had some straight black hardware, and I collected some vintage inspired bin pull knobs so that they would have more of the vintage feel, even though they're really just a couple of nightstands from the 80s. So I'd already painted them from in the last house. I added some baskets that were the perfect fit for underneath. And now that I added that vintage hardware, I'm actually loving it all over again. I felt like we needed new nightstands and that they just weren't going to work in this room. And now they totally do after adding a new detail. Another thing I found to bring in was an antique mirror. I found it for, I think, $20-ish at an antique shop, and I put it here to the right of the armoire. I've been wanting a full-length mirror in this room just to kind of, you know, if you want to look at your outfit or something before you leave. And I never could find one that I liked a lot. But this one, if I stand pretty far back from it, I actually can completely see my whole outfit. And I needed a place to put this mirror. And I feel like the color and the style of it ties in with some of the more Victorian fancy elements that I'm going for in here. So I have my chandelier that has that touch to it. I have the gold frames on the oil paintings, and then I have this mirror, which has, it's a little bit more ornate, but it vibes with the rest of the style. I love the idea of combining some old and new, ornate and really, really simple, minimal, and then a little bit of extra. That's just kind of my new thing, is to do this eclectic style where I really collect things together. It makes everything feel so much more cozy. It's new for me. So as you guys know, I try things and then sometimes it doesn't work out after I look at it for a while and then I change it. But I really feel like what I have going on in my kitchen and what I have going on in here is finally starting to nail the style that I really want. Definitely takes a lot of trial and error. I question myself, but once I start putting things in, taking things out, living with it for a while, I'm getting this collected, cozy feel that I'm really trying to go for. So that is what I'm experimenting with in here. Now below the mirror, I wanted something that would sort of anchor it. I felt like it couldn't just be floating there in the middle of nowhere. So I took the bench that you will find in my book. I made a blue and white striped linen bench cover for it and I put it below there. It fit in just perfectly. And then I added a linen pillow cover that I made. I'll talk more in my spring home tour about the throw pillows on the bed, but those were a DIY as well. Super simple and cheap, and I'm gonna be talking about that. Now, another thing you might notice is I added curtains. The best thing about this room is that it has so much light. Just coming in here almost feels dreamy because There's so much light. The floors are painted a light color. It just feels flooded with it. But the windows aren't in the best condition, so they definitely are showing some wear. And I thought these soft curtains would really help to kind of cover that up and then also just add another cozy element. So I did put up some linen curtains. I will talk again more about that in my upcoming spring home tour video, but I decided to do the tension rods. I had seen this in another person's house because I was hesitant with the last couple curtains I put up in this house. I did the rods high like you normally do, and I hated that you couldn't see all of the pretty trim. And now this is probably what I'm gonna be doing in the rest of our house. Instead of hanging curtain rods above and on the wall, I'm gonna be doing these tension rods. And the bonus of that is that it's so easy. It took 2 seconds to put them up versus asking Luke to hang my curtain rods. Another thing that I brought in here is the wicker crate. This was something that I found on a recent antique shopping trip. I said I was gonna be putting it in the boys' room, but then whenever I saw it on top of my armoire, I really liked that stacked effect and decided that I would be keeping it in here. And then I left in my blue milk painted dresser that we already had in here. It's funny because for a while I was feeling like I wanted to replace that and that it didn't really go in here. But now, after I've brought it to this style and I've added a whole bunch of different things, it feels in place now because it has some character to it, it has a nice color, and I'm definitely bringing more color into here, and so I'm actually really loving it. And I just topped it with a few antique pieces that I've been finding out and about at antique shops. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this tour of our bedroom all made over for spring and with quite a few new elements. It feels like a whole new bedroom in here. I know it's the first time you're seeing it, but I've actually been making these changes pretty slowly. The bed's been in here for a few months now. I brought in the art and then a few other things, just kind of piecing it together over time. And this is how it looks now. Who knows, maybe I'll have a whole lot more pretty things to put in it in another year. It's probably mostly done, but I do want to put a chair over in the corner because we moved the bed over to center it on the window. We didn't have it like that before, and that now leaves a nice spot in the corner where a sitting area would be nice. And then I'm thinking probably some art on the wall behind the camera right now would be nice, but this is how it looks now, and it's feeling a lot more put together. Again, I want to say thank you to today's video sponsor, Brook Linen. Our Brook Linen sheets are the most comfy we've ever slept in. We have been absolutely enjoying them. I know that on those hot summer nights that are coming up, we can just be under the linen. Right now we're under the linen sheets, the classic duvet, the duvet insert. We're all bundled in, and with the Brook Linen quilt on the end. But we can start peeling back some of those layers as the temperatures do get a little bit warmer, which I'm definitely looking forward to. Now remember to use code BOONE20 to get $20 off your order of $100 or more. And check out all of the links down in the description box below. All right, thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse.